Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Art House. This is a no beeps update. Why? Because I've been robbed again by children. No horn. So we're going to have another market update. There's been a lot of sales activity, a lot of pretty interesting and exciting auctions, both on my platforms and on eBay. So we're going to get into that on some of the websites. Then I'll go to the overhead cam, and then we'll look at the eBay sales data. So the one thing, there's a couple big events this week. This last couple days ago on Wednesday, we had the first Collector Arthouse Alpha booster. I almost said booster box, but it was a full case opening. So it was pretty funny. It took about 3.5 hours. It was very high stress because I had all three of my little kids hanging on me for the past hour. The wife was getting restless and upset. I kept telling her, 20 minutes left, 30 minutes left, and I had many, many boxes to go. So the packs just never stopped coming. 39 packs per box times 6. What's like 234 packs or so. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It takes a while, but it was very fun. We had a lot of huge hits. I'll show a few of those in a moment. But what I wanted to announce was that I have a second case coming. I think like 1.5 boxes already sold. The first case sold out. It actually oversold in like a day and a half. So there was a lot of interest. A lot of people are excited about case number 2. So if you guys want in on that, just send me a message through Facebook Messenger, Mike Servati, or you can find me on Discord, Collector Arthouse, Mike. Just send me a direct message or join the Collector Arthouse Discord or the Facebook group that you're looking at. All right, so the Sorcery Contested Realm Community Facebook group, we're closing in on 1,900 members. That rounds up, so hopefully 2,000 pretty soon. Big news, we had our first artist proof auction. It's actually going on right now. This is the very first offering from Elvira Shakarova. So let me talk about this one just a bit, and then we'll go to the overhead cam in a little bit, and I'll show it live. But this Dream Quest card is one of her best cards in the game. It's a unique card for one, so it's the highest rarity. It's a super powerful card in that it has a tutor effect, a lot like the Demonic Tutor in Magic. It allows you to search your spell book for a card and put it in your hand and then shuffle it if needed. I don't know what that means. I guess you'd probably have to shuffle. So maybe there's a nuance there that I can't comprehend. But the interesting thing about these artist proof cards is that they have these square corners, so that's how you'll be able to distinctly tell them apart from Alpha, aside from obviously that the back of it is blank until the artist sketches, or oftentimes sketches, paints, signs, or some combination therein, right? So on the back here, it's a beautiful detailed sketch that Elvira did. This is number 2 of 25. So a lot of the artists are keeping number 1 of 25. So this is like the very first lowest number to be offered. And this concept here was an alternate sketch concept that she presented to Eric Olofsson, the game creator, when she did the commission for this card, right? So there were 3 different sketch concepts, and this was one that was not selected for the final version. So it's an opportunity for Elvira to bring this to life. And we had another interesting idea where if the person who purchases the artist proof, or just anyone, wants to commission a full-scale painting, like an 8x10 or something like that, some of the artists are willing to do so, and that might be a possibility with Elvira if anybody's interested. So that's a beautiful card, very popular. It started at $1. It did have an undisclosed reserve, which gets revealed once the reserve is met. So the reserve was met. The current high bid is $550, and that auction will end at 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So it's always 24 hours, 8 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. The auctions are right here at the Sorcery Contested Realm Community Group and the Collector Arthouse Discord group, just mirrored in both places. So you could bid on either platform or message me privately, and I update the bid history at both places. So people can track at both locations if you're not on both platforms. All right, so that's really exciting. There's going to be another one coming for auction at 8 p.m. tonight. I'll show that when we go to the overhead cam. And we're probably going back to marathon mode. Like several months ago, there was a lot of sample cards that I auctioned for months on end. 1 per card, 24 hours. A lot of sleepless nights or waking up every few hours, tracking Europeans placing bids and stuff. So there's just a lot of stuff coming through, a lot of like really high-end, exciting artist-proof cards with about 10 artists that I'm working with to do that. And then also like the foils, as people get cards, there's a lot of uniques and elites that'll be coming for auction. So a lot of fun and exciting opportunities, and maybe even a curio card. So I'm working on a curios article. What are curio cards? and a deep dive into the curios that have been discovered to date. So that's going to be really fun. I did an article on that back in like May of 2022. So this is an update now that we've seen, 5, 6, maybe 7 curios. So those will all be documented, and been researching those and writing a lengthy article to walk you guys through the history. All right, so that auction's going on right now. Another one coming tonight. Sunday night, we're going to have probably a double header with a card and a painting offer. So I'll show that later. But if you go to to my Collector Arthouse YouTube channel, you'll want to sign up and subscribe and track the notifications, and hopefully you're seeing these posts that I do. This is one of the ways that I announce upcoming auctions. I'll do it on YouTube as a post, on the Sorcery Contested Realm community group, Facebook group, and the Collector Arthouse Discord. So all of those occasions, and Collector Arthouse Media Instagram, if you guys want to follow me on there. So a lot going on. There's a lot upcoming, so stay tuned for updates. Here's a post that showed the Dream Quest coming up. From my box break the other day, we had the Mirror Realm. We pulled that in foil, which is absolutely unbelievable. I reached out to Liz Danforth and shared that finding with her. She was pretty excited, wants a copy for herself. A lot of the artists do. Really awesome announcement here, working with Rodney Matthews to sell his artist proofs. So I'll go back to the page in a moment and show those. We had a auction of the Moon Clan Werewolf. Beautiful artwork by Alan Pollock. Really impressive in foil. The Cortezan Tice, auctioned that one, and there was the box break. All right, so going back to the community group, I had mentioned, actually, let's take a look at Rodney's page. So the agreement with Rodney is he's going to work on his first 5 artist proofs, and then he's going to mail those off to me, and then we'll be running those through the auction system. So what I wanted to show you here is he's completed 4 of those so far. The very first reveal, let me show you a few things. Let's go back to the beginning, right? So 4 days ago, Rodney posted here. This is him. He's still at it, working hard. There was a misunderstanding, I think, between Eric and Rodney. I think Eric thought he might have been retired, but he's actually still at it, and he's spending hours on these artist proofs. They're coming out amazing. So here he is receiving his Sorcery binder and his 25 artist proof. So he only has this one card in Alpha. Interesting story that I think that artwork was used for a book cover, and the original painting is owned by John Cleese, the famous comedian and actor who was in Monty Python and a lot of other things. So he's a friend of Rodney's, and he owns the original painting. So there's a really cool story there. I want to say John might have done the voiceover for the promo that the Sorcery team put together too, the promo video. So that's really cool. All right, so there's a couple of him receiving the artist proofs. Again, there's only 25 copies of those, plus 4 that were in the top pledge tier of the Kickstarter, so 29 in total. So these artist proof cards are extremely rare. Here's the first one that Rodney did. Amazing painting. These will all be very detailed, elaborate paintings. Look at his style, is so great. People are going nuts for this. 343 likes and 30 comments. Unbelievable. Then he had, this is the actual artwork. So he's offering what is this? This was a print offering. Dwarven Forge is the name of the piece. The Forging of the Treasures, Dwarven Forge by Rodney Matthews. And he's signing these. Got a really great signature there, dated 2023. And those are hand-signed open edition print that you can order on his website, I believe. All right, so moving on, you can go to number 2. Another great sketch and painting here that he did. And what he's doing, I think what he told me, is that he'll be doing a A4 print, A4 size print for each of these, because his process is he sketches them out first and then he paints them. So that's really cool. Here's the number 3. Amazing artwork. He does these dragons incredibly well. Great fantasy style. And number 4, which you just revealed, spectacular, very colorful, very beautiful. These backgrounds are absolutely amazing. I love the vibe, the color composition of those looks super cool. So it looks like he's got 4 done. He's working on number 5. He said number 5 is going to be pretty special because it'll relate to the dwarven scene on his card. So yeah, he'll ship those off, and then look for that soon, coming auction. All right, so let's really quick, before we look at the eBay sales, nothing I do is really quick, but let's take a look at the overhead cam. All right, so a little detour. So first things first, let me see. Are we zoom? Let's zoom. And I'll show you the card that is currently up for auction. And again, this is going to end tonight at 8 o'clock. There we go with the autofocus. All right. So the Dream Quest, as I mentioned, the square corners. So that's how the artist proofs are. That's a homage to MTG Beta. And actually, let me move this over so I'm somewhat looking at the webcam. All right. So we have the square corners, the homage to the first ever printed Magic the Gathering artist proofs. You know, they had square corners like that before they also went to the rounded corners. Sorcery cards a little more aggressively rounded than modern day Magic cards, so that was an interesting decision as well. Kind of like the oldest vintage Magic had a little more curvature. And then on the back, the beautiful sketch. And again, I'll have to do a separate feature because I know these videos get long. Not everybody is into long form, but there's sketches that accompany the artwork. Again, these were the early concept ideas that Elvira presented to Eric, the creator of the game and the art director for the game. And Eric selected the final version, this one, that you see on the card. But this one is just as beautiful, just a different vantage point and concept. So here she did it in detailed sketch form. And finally brought this to life many years later after the original painting was completed and conceived. All right, so that's very cool. Tonight, we're going to launch this one at 8 o'clock. One of the biggest avatars in the game. Come on, baby, focus in. There it is, the Elementalist. So again, this is a gorgeous artwork. This was her first big painting sale. You know, she sold a few early, fairly inexpensively, and then the market really changed, and the game blew up, and her, you know, the visibility of the game and her artwork just kind of is off the charts now. She's a very popular artist, and the painting was stunning. It was actually a charity auction that she ran, so it was very generous of her to do that. So it was very successful. And this avatar in the game is just very powerful because of its mechanic here. You have an additional threshold here of any of the 4 colors, you know, so it's very useful in multi-element decks. So it's a great avatar. And look at that. So again, this was the final concept that was agreed to between Eric and Elvira. However, this was one of her other ideas that was not selected. So both are fantastic in their own right. Eric has a particular vision for the game, so it must have been a difficult choice deciding between the 3 because they're all great in their own right, but he selected the duality of this one, which more directly, I would say, synergizes with its mechanic in the game, right? As opposed to this one, you know, is a different type of concept, but still gorgeous. So amazing detail on this one, you know, plain to see. I think it's going to be super popular. We'll get that launch at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. All right, and then tomorrow night, I might do a double header. I have a few, I have a unique foil Sunday night and an elite and a unique. And then several cards coming in, being shipped. So I usually do one auction at a time, just to have the sole focus on and to feature one thing, one artist, one piece relating to Sorcery or directly from Sorcery if it's a card, and not like a new concept piece. But with all the action going on, with a lot of people receiving product, I might have to start doing double headers, so to speak, where we have two plus auctions going at once. But for now, we'll do one at a time. Clean off the mat for this painting, and what we have here, I featured this on the SCR Sorcery Contested Realm Art Market Facebook group. So go look for that one as well. That's another group I run. So this is a hand-painted, 100% traditional painting by artist Marta Molina. So on this half, you have Oasis. That is one of the landscape site cards in the game. And this one is Pristine Paradise. So in this landscape-style painting, and it's about... what did I measure? 6.5 tall by 7.5. Well, let me see. Let's just do it real time here, guys. I got the tailor tape here in case I need to hem some suits later. That's what Italians do. My grandfather in Sicily was actually a tailor. So here you go. 7.5 high, vertical. And then horizontally, we have about 16.5. And you can see there's about not quite a 1/4 inch margin on that. So 7.5 by 16.5. Beautiful long landscape. Absolutely gorgeous. It's true to the original concept of each, with some nuances, right? Some color nuances. But then you have this flamingo or this tropical bird splashing off of the oasis and traversing into the pristine paradise. So absolutely stunning, amazing artwork. You know, look at it shine. Like under proper lighting, it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to lay it there so you could take it in. It looks really good against the red background. So maybe you need a red frame on this. I'm not sure. But we'll offer this one up through auction. Just want to announce that and showcase it. It's the first, we're coining the first sorcery dual land painting. You know, a new concept, dual land paintings. We've seen, you know, Marta does this a lot in her MTG altars where she does landscape style art, or even like in portrait mode, multiple basic like magic lands or like altered concepts of those across multiple cards. So this is like one that's a full traditional painting, which mirrors two great cards in the game. You know, the Pristine Paradise is a multi-element land itself and a unique card, so it's very special. So, you know, a dual land painting, pretty amazing to display as you're conquering the realm and smashing your opponents, having that on display. So look for that coming soon. Let's go back to the old interwebs. All right, guys. So what we need to do is get to the market data. We're looking at probably a 25 to 30 minute video at this point. All right, so let me close Facebook so people aren't hitting me up with constant messages. And yeah, let's kill YouTube too. All right, so what we want to do is go to 130point.com. That's where we go to look at actual sold listings for sorcery or for whatever sells on eBay, right? So we'll just type in sorcery contested realm. That's usually how you get the key hits. And now the laptop's humming. All right, so here you see some, you know, the non-foils are going already fairly inexpensively. This isn't exceptional, about $5. We'll have to see where that settles. You got the Orb of Baal Birth. That's a non-foil elite, so 85 Canadian. So again, these are in Canadian. To convert to USD, it's about 75% of that. You lose about 75% on the exchange, or it's about 75% difference in Canadian dollar currency relative to US. So just keep that in mind as we're going through here. All right, so you have a unique foil for immolation. And you know what I should probably do, so I don't have to do clutch math on the fly, that would be an absolute travesty, is have the old calculator up over here. So 475 is an example. 75% of that, it's about $356. I wonder if there's a way to automatically convert, but $350 for a unique foil, that's pretty interesting. You know, the high-end foils, the really powerful ones, they go for quite a bit. I mean, I sold the Ruler of Thule at auction, sold for about $750. And actually, if you hold that thought, here you go. You got a playmat for $29.90. I think this was, you know, like a warehouse kind of unloading a few of those. But you have, here's you go, Dream Quest. That's in USD. That was actually an auction, it looks like. 17 bids, went for $79 USD for the non-foil. And then you have the Key Theory Mechanism non-foil. That's a really hot card. Here they listed that there's a pop. For the unique non-foils, this is accurate. This is what's estimated based on pull rates, about 3,376 copies of those. So, you know, 30,000 boxes, 17.5 million cards printed. But when you get to the unique rarities, they're actually very rare, even in non-foil, and extremely rare in foil. There's only about 250 copies of the unique foils, so they're insanely rare. I mean, the probability of pulling any given copy is very small. I think in my case break across 6 boxes, I pulled 4 unique foils out of 6 boxes. So most people are averaging 1 to 2 on average per box. And then, you know, there's 67-ish, I want to say, different unique cards in the set. So if you're only pulling 4-ish on average, maybe 6 if you're lucky in a full case, that's 4 to 6 out of 67. You know, the odds of you getting any specific card in a full case, which is expensive. Those are going for like $2,500+ now. You know, it's extremely hard to pull any given card. So that's why people are really paying a premium for their favorite card. All right, so you have the Death Dealer. This was an auction. Looks like it ended yesterday. 40 bids, $152. Non-foil unique, so that's a pretty healthy price point for a non-foil. You got booster boxes here, 400+ at this point. 450, you know, that one sold. This is interesting. This is what did the, let's look at Screaming Skull here for a moment. I know they changed the rarity on this one. Yeah, they made it an elite. So that flashed quick. Let me scroll down. All right, so that is an elite relic. I hesitated for a moment because I ran an auction for the sample card, which was an exceptional in early development time frame. So this one sold for, what did it say? It looks like he accepted an offer for 200 CAD. So what is that? 150 bucks? The old calculator, $150. That's not bad, I would say, actually, for an elite, because elites are extremely rare as well, guys. There's like roughly 500, I want to say, of each elite card. So maybe like even a little under that. So you're talking about hard to find level rarity as a Flesh and Blood comparison. I think Black Lotus was what, like 1,000-ish in Alpha. Do your own research on that. Don't quote me. I'm just going off of memory. But that's quite rare. These unique foils and elite foils are really, really insane. All right, so you got Plague of Frogs sold for 400 USD. So there you go. There's another example of an Alpha unique. With an $800 ask, it sold for half of that. So people are putting feelers out at high price points. But $400 for a unique foil. That's interesting. So you see, that's a good sale. That's a good, powerful, meta-relevant card. But they're ranging anywhere. The Frazettas are going for 700 plus. I think there was. I'll come back, but I want to say I saw I could have sworn I saw a Ruler of Thul sell, and I'll just search for that specifically really quick. Ruler of Thul foil. You know what? I might get some. Let's see if I get some Magic the Gathering hits. No, okay. So 1,100 Canadian. This sold on June 18th. 1 out of 248. That's roughly correct. So 1,100. Can't even tell. Correct. That is $825. So that actually sold slightly more than the auction. The first one sold for $750. This one sold for $825. So those Frazettas are a big deal. They just announced that the Frazetta artworks. Oh, one too far. The Frazetta artworks that are in Alpha will not be in Beta. So they'll be exclusive to Alpha. So they have that reserve list kind of effect in a way. And that's gathering a premium. Sorcery Contested Realm. Spelled correctly. All right, so let's go back to the sold listings. We were getting a pretty good sampling of the non-foil uniques, elite and foil uniques. The lower price point cards are just kind of like ordinaries, 5 Canadian. It's not even $5. Pretty inexpensive. That's probably people just filling out decks for Gen Con coming up or whatever, trying to collect sets or whatever their favorites are. So the Canadians have their boxes in hand. The Australians, I think, are getting theirs like imminently or already started to. And this weekend, the U.S. is confirming addresses. So shipping will happen very quickly. Probably start commencing over the next week or two maybe. And showing up within like a couple weeks. We'll probably start getting it in the U.S., Europe, other regions, maybe by mid-July, hopefully, if not sooner. All right, so nothing's really jumping out just yet here. Here's 525 Canadian for Roots. So Roots of Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil? I don't know how you pronounce that one. So 525 Canadian is about what? Almost $400 USD. Pretty interesting. And then you have, an elite, 175 Canadian. The elites are interesting to me because those are very rare. And you see them going for like 150 CAD in some cases, which is, let's say 150 on average is $112. So, let's call it $110, $125 for an elite. They're very, very rare. So if the game's successful, I think those are going to be pretty hot. You have a non-foil Amethyst core. That sold for $210 USD. Wow, that's interesting. For an elite non-foil. So those aren't particularly rare per se. I'd say that's probably high, and those might settle a bit. Interesting, the Death Dealer, 150. Very hot card. Very popular. I think on the Sorcery Contested Realm marketplace group on Facebook, there was one listed for 150. So that seems reasonable. 600 for an elite foil Elementalist. All right, so I think elite foil avatars are going to be pretty big deal, pretty popular. Here you have a non-foil Eric's Curiosa, went for about 170. Interesting. So you got is this a non-foil? Okay, so the non-foil ruler went for 150. And then you saw the foil premium went for 825, I think we called it. Wow, that's a considerable premium for the foil, and it's considerably more rare. So, it makes sense on some level. So I guess I'll just leave it there, guys. To summarize, we saw box prices 400 to 500-ish range in that 400, 450, sometimes closer to 500. At the moment, there's going to be more supply coming onto the market. However, I think it has almost like a reverse effect where once people start opening boxes, you really get that itch to want to get more foils, chase the curios, and it gooses demand. So although we're going to get more supply, we're going to get kind of like a shadow effect or like a complementary effect where the demand is also going to increase as people crack, because it's a really great opening experience. It's a lot of fun. The foils are super impressive. I know you've seen them on a lot of videos if you've been watching the box breaks like I've done, some of the other channels, some of the showcase videos from the content creators. They look great on camera. They look even better in person. Like you can't fully appreciate it until you see it. So I think that'll be an interesting market dynamic to follow, especially as the U.S. gets their inventory or their Kickstarter fulfillment. Several auctions going on at the Sorcery Contested Realm Facebook community group and the Collector Arthouse Discord. There's always linked in my link tree in the description of these videos. So definitely go check those out and join and follow the action. Make sure you're subscribing and hitting the notification bell for my updates here on YouTube. This is where I'll be showcasing art and cards, high-end cards, as posts too, not just videos. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting things coming, a lot of auctions. We'll put out sales data history. We're establishing kind of valuations it's early. There's been choke supply just in Canada, but more and more will come on the market. We'll continue to do videos like this. You'll see records of sales that'll help establish valuations for things at different tiers. And stay tuned for the art, the traditional art, the artist proof auctions. The artist proofs are very exciting. Working with a lot of artists on that. So they'll be great. It's a great they make the majority of the commission on that, or the sale. I get a small commission for my service to help them, but large percentage of the proceed goes to the artist. So it's a great way to help and support artists. In Sorcery, there's only one set a year, so they can only sell paintings, once a year, really multiple years, oftentimes by the time they commission them and that set actually comes to market. Arthurian Legends even was worked on probably more than a year ago. So it's another way to support the artists and for them to make revenue to hold them over. So thanks guys for your interest. Please like, subscribe, share the videos, and follow along and join all the social media groups. It's a lot of fun. All right, take care everybody. Thanks for hanging in for the long video. See ya. And sign up for the box break if you want in. We'll try to do that next week, late next week sometime. It's on its way from Canada, so as soon as I get it, I'll announce it, but I'm already recording orders and getting people signed up. All right, take care, everybody. See ya.